Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to show you how to do keychains. I'm doing some really quick last minute Mother's Day gifts for my mother-in-law. So I'm using these rectangle keychains. I got these on Amazon. They come with the little toggle and the metal thing and the plastic thing to hold them into place. So the measurements that I'm using for these, so I am using 1.52 wide. You can see it's just past the 1/2 inch mark, so I'm going to go a little bit wider because I kind of want it to wrap around almost. I don't want to make it too small. And then I'm going to do the 2.30. You can see I'm just past the 3 mark. So here's the 1/4 inch, so I'm going to go just a little bit bigger so I can do that. What I did was go in and make 2 shapes. So I went over here to the corner and I made a shape. So I just made the rectangle shape and I drew that out. So I did 2 of them. You can see I already did my son Evan's. So I made 2 of them. Make sure you click out of this. I also outlined my box so I know what I'm looking at. So what I'm going to do is go in and take the picture that I took that I made of Caleb, and I'm going to pull that up. So I'm going to go to my file, and this is in my Sublimation folder, and I'm going to scroll down until I find the picture of Caleb, and I'm just going to drop it on my desktop. So I'm going to turn this. I'm just going to bring it down just a little bit. So I did 4.50. What I want to do is I want this image, I'm going to send it to the back. So I'm going to tell it to send it to the back. So I need to move this down so I can see. So you can size your image. So just pull the corners of your image to size it the way that you want. I'm going to end up moving these around on my page so I can utilize more, but right now I'm just designing, so it's not really that big of a deal. So I'm just pulling this. You can see my box around there, so I'm just resizing it the way that I want in my box. Then I can move this around so I can get my entire image in there. So you can see here my entire image is in there. So my box is right here. If I go in and change the color of my box, you would be able to probably see it better. So you can see it now in white, but that's what I'm looking at. So I just have it outlined in a color. So here is Caleb and here is Evan. So I've resized them the way that I want. This one right here, I resized it. It looks a little bit smaller picture wise than this one, only because you can see the dog and my youngest son sitting in the back. So I'm going to catch that one into it. So what I want to do is I'm going to keep these all together. You can go through and erase this if you don't want it to print like that. It doesn't matter. You can. So I just highlighted this entire area, and I'm going to go up here to group selected, and I'm going to do that. So I just group these pictures together. Like I said, you can make this smaller if you want. You can erase this if you want, but right now it's fine just the way that it is. I'm going to group the selected on Caleb also, so I just highlighted it. I'm going to group selected. So this way I can move them and it doesn't matter. They don't go anywhere. So I can do the same thing with this one, and the box and the image stay together. So I'm going to drop a couple more things onto this page so I'm not wasting an entire page, and then I'll show you how I press these. So I'm going to show you another way really quick too, is if you want to do an all over and not a photo like this. If you go in and make a shape, so I'm going to make a shape, size it the way that I want. If you go down to your files and say you have an all over small print or something that you want to drop in, you can go down to your files. I'm going to be able to see, and I didn't. Hold on. I screwed up. So let me delete that. I forgot to get out of my file. So I'm going to outline this, backtrack, hit my little arrow button, go down to my files. So say I want to drop this Among Us or something into it. You want to be able to see this when you do that. Take your little design and just drop it right into it. So it'll resize it. It doesn't work as well on photos because it's going to want to get the entire thing in there. But when you have an all over pattern or something like this, say you want to just do cheetahs or something, a cheetah print on the back, you can just drop it into it and it'll do it on the entire thing. So it'll resize it to the size that you set it at. So this works out really well when I do pop sockets. If you're doing an all over pattern on a pop socket, this works great. So this is how you do it if you want to just drop in a pattern into it. So just put your sizes in once you make your shape and drop it in. So you can do circles and rectangles and squares. I did a sign yesterday, and this is exactly how I did it. I just dropped the pattern right into it. So this works out well, but I'm going to delete this because this isn't what I want to do. I made another one, so I have one for myself. I pulled a different picture. These are some that I took yesterday. I got to find something else to put on the end of this page because I try to maximize my pages so I'm not wasting them. So I'm going to see something. I'm going to print something else on this, and we'll see what else I can get. Okay, so to maximize it, I decided to add some air fresheners. So these are round air fresheners that I got from Condi. So this is what they look like. The air fresheners, I sized them at 3.15. Let me check that. Okay, sorry, just wanted to recheck the size. So I sized them by, so I did 3.15 wide by 3.20 high on these. They seem to be a little bit bigger height-wise than width-wise, which is really odd, but actually I think I'm going to size them all at 3.22. So I'm going to switch this, unlock this, and change them all to 3.22. So I'm going to resize all of these to 3.22. So I'm just going to select each one of them, make sure my unlock is off, and resize to 3.22. Enter. Do the same thing for each of them. So these are double-sided air fresheners. So that is why I have two. So one will be one kid and one will be the other kid. So that's how I have them. I tried, like I said, I can drop a whole bunch more stuff in here, pop sockets and everything else, but for time purposes, I don't have that. So we have the keychains that are here and the air fresheners that are going to be here. I sized around it. All I did was, instead of shrinking this like I did the keychains, because I want the keychains to be closer up, I just dropped and dragged it in place. So I'm going to go into print. Make sure I have 8.5 by 11. I need to load 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 14. So I switched it to legal size so I can get more on there. So I'm going to switch my paper over on my ET2720 to 8.5 by 14. All right, so my paper is loaded with the 8.5 by 14. I am using a sub 125 gram 8.5 by 14, which is also known as legal. So I hit print, so I'm going to click print again. I'm going to go to my ET2720. I have multiple printers. I'm going to go to my preferences. I'm going to change my paper size. I'm going to go down to legal 8.5 by 14. I am using premium presentation matte. My quality is high. Color, obviously we want all of that. So I'm going to go to more options. I'm going to go custom, advanced. I do color controls over here on the side. I'm switching my color mode to Adobe RGB. My brightness is going to be 9. My contrast is going to be 7. My saturation 15. And my density 4. I'm going to click OK. I am going to turn off high speed, and I am going to mirror my image. I'm going to click OK. I'm going to apply my changes, and I'm going to print. So this is going to print. I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so it is done printing. You can see the color. So the backgrounds, I blacked out on these, so I did it on my phone. So the backgrounds are in black and white, and the picture of the kids are a color pop. So you can see, I'm trying to get a good video so you can see what the colors are. So you can see the colors really, really good. I use Hippo brand ink, and like I said, I used a sub 125 paper. So I'm going to cut around these while my press is heating up. And I'm just going to do square cuts. And I'm going to square around these really quick so we can do one at a time. Alright, so I put a piece of copy paper down on my press, and I am going to pull the protective film on both sides of the keychain. These keychains are an MDF, it looks like, with a subli coating on them. They are not acrylic. The acrylic, you can definitely tell the difference. They are thinner. They have white acrylic also. And those ones you usually have to apply heavy pressure after. So you have to put weight on afterwards so they don't warp. So you're going to want to make sure you take the coating off if yours comes with a coating. Some of them do not come with a coating on them, and they've already been removed. So you're going to take the coating off. If I can actually get the coating off the second side. Okay. Come on. There we go. Alright, so I'm going to take the coating off. Try not to touch the images because I really don't want to have to alcohol it. So here's one of my pictures with my son Evan on it. And I am going to do this side first. So all I'm going to do is place it where he is. So I know Evan's right there. Like I said, you could have made these smaller. I just chose to go way over on these ones. And I'm going to place it down on my press. I'm going to give it a good tape. You can do multiple at a time, so you don't have to do one. My press is still heating up. So I'm going to tape these down good because I don't want them to ghost. Originally, when I got these keychains, the directions had them at 170 degrees Celsius, which is only like 38 degrees Fahrenheit. So I'm switching it on these ones, so we'll see how that works. I'm going to grab the other keychain, and I'm going to put that one down too. Okay, so we're up to temp. I'm going to go ahead and take another piece of plain cheap copy paper. This is Target brand copy paper. So both of these are taped down. So we're going to do one side at a time. I'm going to do the air fresheners while these are cooling down a little bit so I can get the back side. So I'm doing 400 degrees for 60 seconds. I'm going to go ahead and put that in. It says 59, but it should be 60. So we are going to go ahead. I am on medium to high pressure. And we are going to see how this works out. This right here is my smaller heat press. I have two swing arms. This one's a 10 by 12. Believe it or not, I got this one on Wish. And it has lasted me, knock on wood, over a year. And these heating elements actually work for multiple things. So I had this off and was using it for one of my tumbler presses. So this worked out well because if any of my other two heating elements blow, I have more that I can swap out in its place. So we're going to go ahead and press this one. As I said, I got the keychains on Amazon. Make sure that you look at the reviews on them because some of them say sublimation, but they're not. So you're going to want to take a look at that. We're going to press this and we're going to see how it comes out. All right, so we are ready. I'm going to take the blowout paper. This is why I use blowout paper. I use blowout paper on everything. I don't want this going on my presses. I use a piece of copy paper underneath because I don't want the same thing to happen to my pad on my press. So if you can see this, it does blow out on the bottom, which is why I use it. I pull all of my stuff hot. I don't want any ghosting if I start moving stuff around, and since I want to press something else, I don't want to have to worry about it. So you can see these are the ones with Evan. They're extremely, extremely hot, but you can see the color is really good. My craft room is in my basement, so that's not really good lighting wise, but you can see there is Evan. So I'm going to set these aside and let both of them cool, and we will do the back side in just a minute. All right, so I'm going to do one side of these for starters. These are from Condi. These are the round ones that they have. I am going to put, I have a piece of rolled tape, so I'm going to put that on really quick. because you're going to pre-press these. I put that on the back side just to hold it in place. I'm going to do both of them. I'm going to do 2 at a time. Lint roller is a big deal for these. So I'm going to take a lint roller to them. Obviously that doesn't matter. That was the little knob for where it was cut out. So I just took a lint roller to both of these. I have them taped down. You're going to want to do a pre-press on these to try to put the fibers down. So I am going to put another piece of copy paper down. And I'm going to press for a couple minutes or a couple seconds. Pull my copy paper. It's going to want to come with me. I just put that down just to try to keep it in place. So I'm going to take my images that I'm going to use. I'm sticking with Evan right now. So you can take this off. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to use that again. And I am going to place it. You're going to want to see where your string is going to go into that. And you can see, like I said, I go a little bit bigger all the way around. And you're going to want to level that up. Put that in place. Tape it down. So the time for this is the same time for the keychains, which is why I ran them together. So I can do one right after another. Same thing, medium to high pressure. You can see where my hole is. You're going to come back and lint roll the back side too when you get ready to do the back side of this. Trying to go fast so the video isn't ridiculously long. So I'm going to take the same copy paper I used for my pre-press, push my plate back in, my platen back in, and we're going to start this one for 60 seconds. Okay, so our 60 seconds is done. I'm going to pull my platen out. You can see blowout, which is why I use blowout paper for everything. And like I said, I pull hot on everything, but you can see how these came out. As I said, it's hard to get a good picture with these, but you can see that I blurred the background out, and the background is all black and white, but I did that with my camera. So you can see how these came out. And if you want, you can do the back side right away, or we can go back to the keychains. So I think what I'm going to do is just flip and do the background really quick. Like I said, lint roll for sure. You definitely want copy paper on this because you don't want to put that picture right into your stuff. I'm going to pre-press the back since I just used my lint roller over it. You will get some of your ink from your other side on your blowout paper on the bottom. So we just did a quick pre-press. And I'm going to take the images for these, which is my other son, Caleb. And I am going to line them up. Make sure that my hole, so you can see the hole there. And I'm going to tape them down. The heat tape I'm using is blue heat tape from Amazon. It came in a 4-pack. It was fairly inexpensive. Probably a couple dollars a roll. I don't use that for tumblers. I use the brown tape for tumblers because the brown tape stretches more. So if you're doing something where you want the tape to stretch, I don't recommend the blue. I definitely do not recommend the clear tape from Condi. I've had major issues with that one. I try to take it off and it just tears, you know, in little itty bitty pieces. So I don't use that anymore at all. I have some, and at some point I got to use it for something. But so I'm going to take it and I'm going to do my second side. Like I said, we're going to do 400. Your heat press is going to fluctuate, but it's not going to fluctuate that much. So I'm going to fluctuate. We're going to start this and we're going to do the second side. Okay. That side is done. There goes my copy paper. You can see, obviously, more of the blowout. And we are going to take this off. Obviously, it's extremely hot, but so, and now Caleb is done. So I have one for my car and one for my in-laws. So, like I said, these came from Condi. These are about 3 1/4 inches. They come 6 to a sheet. I popped them off because I'm doing different ones. So I popped them off the main sheet because I'm not doing all the same thing. So at least this way it's easier for me to store. They come with their own little plastic bag and their own little tie. So you can tie these on there. I will show you upstairs what I'm going to do to put the scent in there. But right now I'm going to get it set up to do the second side of the keychains. Okay, so we're going to do the back side the exact same way. I'm going to line it up to where I want it. I'm going to do both of them at the same time. I have my copy paper down on the bottom, so I don't have a picture of Evan permanently on my pad for my press. Copy paper is extremely cheap, especially if you can get it a coupon at Staples. If you think you've touched the back side of this, I suggest using alcohol on it. I don't think I've touched it. We shall see, because it will leave a fingerprint or a smudge mark or something on there. I'm just trying to get this so it's not too terribly long. So I'm taping this down. Yes, I use a lot of tape. I'm going to do another piece of copy paper. Pull my platen in. Drop my heat press. And we're going to start it. Alright. So we are done. Same thing. You can see the blowout. Like I said, this is extremely, extremely hot. So I used 2 different pictures. One's for me, one's for my mother-in-law, for Caleb, because I couldn't decide which one I liked better. So you can see here, it's hard to get a close-up of how clear the picture is, but the pictures are extremely clear. They are very, very, very hot. But you can see here, that's what they look like. That's the other one with Caleb. So that one is done. I am going to show how to put the scent in the air fresheners. Okay, so this is the end of it. You can see, obviously, I didn't use the plastic things that came with these. They tend to come off, so if I use them, I tend to want to put super glue on them, so I'm not going to do that. So this is the keychain. I just used the toggle and the regular strap. So I did one for my mother-in-law and one for me. So now I'm going to put some scent on the air fresheners. My son picked what he wanted. He picked the orange. This is essential oil from Young Living. I don't know, usually go with doTERRA, but so I'm going to just drop this onto, this is dry, so there shouldn't be an issue with anything. I put it around the edges. I put a piece of parchment paper down since my computer is right underneath this, and I don't want to have an issue with it. So I'm just dropping this sporadically. I've seen spray and everything else. Right now, I'm just using what I have at home, so I don't have to go out and spend any more money. I do like the oils from the Body Shop, so if you have a Body Shop next to you, there was an oil that I got from there that smelled absolutely amazing, and I used that up on the rest of the air fresheners that I did. So I'm just putting a bunch of drops into this. They can add more drops to it as they go, but as I said, this is just Young Living essential oils that I'm dropping onto this right now, and we will see how it goes. If you don't have a dropper, or if you have a really big bottle, if you have any of your extra syringes from converting your press, if you have an eco tank to, I'm almost out of it on the orange, but you can suck up some of your oil and use that if you have a bigger bottle of that, and then just put it on with the syringe. So I always keep these, even though I don't use these. I dump it right into the old original ink tanks, and I put them in there like that. But you can mix oils if you have a different scent or something that you want, but that works. And then, as I said, these were from, the air fresheners were from Condi, and they come with a bag. So I'm going to put them in the bag after I put the string on there. So that way we have some quick, easy gifts for Grandma and for me for Mother's Day. But I can't get a picture of how clear these are, but these keychains come out amazing. And as I said, I showed the color corrections on there, and I also have a video with just the color corrections, but they seem to work out really well for me. The pictures were taken on my Samsung Galaxy Note 9. Printed on my Echo Tank 2720 using A Sub 125 paper and Hippo brand ink, which I get from Amazon, and I run that in both of my printers. So I hope this helps. Hopes it gives you some information. If you have any questions, please go ahead and put them in the comments, and I try to add videos weekly, so if there's something you guys want to see, just send me a comment and I'll see if I can get that done. Okay? Thanks, guys!